Hello, everyone. Let's see here. Good afternoon and welcome to some embossing folder fun this afternoon. So I'm just going to give a couple minutes here. I want to make sure that I am live in all the spots that I need to be so that you guys can enjoy this special tutorial that I have for you today. So let me just see here. There we go. Hello, Jan. You have been on my mind lately. How did I know, hey? There we go. You're going to be here today. I'm so glad you're joining me. Jenny, we got Sarah, Amber. Oh, this is amazing. Okay. It is fantastic. Looks like you guys have found me and we are ready to do some creating with some embossing folders. So, today is Friday. It is September the 22nd, and I want to welcome you to Sue's Paper Creations, a little special tutorial for Friday afternoon. During the month of September, I have been running some extra tutorials for you because September has been all about sharing with you and showing you some different things that you can do with products that you already have at home. So I am excited to bring you another tutorial for embossing folders. Last week, if you tuned in at 3 o'clock last Friday, we did two amazing embossing techniques in which you could use to add a little extra something to your cards and make some amazing backgrounds. And today I am going to show you two more. So we are going to get started in just a few minutes. I want to thank you guys all for joining me, and I hope you enjoy this tutorial today. If you are new to my channel, I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Victoria, BC, and I just love to hop on and share ideas. Create live with you is my favorite thing to do, and make a little bit of a mess. We're going to make a little bit of a mess today. Last week got quite messy with embossing folders, using a little bit of grit, using a whole lot of watercolor. Today, in the two different techniques I'm going to show you with embossing folders, one of them is going to be quite tidy, or as tidy as I can be creating. And the other one, we're going to get messy again, but it is going to be so worth it. And I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So let me put you down to my crafting area. There we go. And we are going to get started with some embossing folder fun. So the first thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to just show you, for those that weren't able to join last week's tutorial at 3 p.m., we did some techniques with embossing folders. It was kind of like part one. And I kind of had a request to do some more with embossing folders. So I wanted to share a little bit more with you today. Let's see here. We got Cynthia and Barb, Christine, Pat. Welcome, everyone. Okay, so this is what the mess we got into last week. And we used some watercolor on our embossing folders. So we applied some ink, we spritzed with water, and we pressed that paper through using some watercolor papers, as well as, this is watercolor cardstock, as well as just regular white cardstock. And this was the gorgeous effect that we got. Okay, it was so much fun. This one here, same thing. We used our embossing folders. We ran some texture. This is actually on foil paper. We added some embossing powders. We got really gritty. We made a good mess. And we ended up with this gorgeous tin looking, kind of rustic tin looking backdrop for our Christmas card here. Okay, this is another sample of our watercolor. Beautiful, right? So for today, I'm going to start off with a simple embossing technique, and then we're going to get into some beautiful, beautiful embossing technique using actually vellum, and we're going to get a little bit messy on our vellum. So I'm excited to show you, be able to show you both techniques today. So hang in there because I am leaving the showstopper for after. The first one is going to be something that is quick and easy. The second one's going to take a little extra time, but it's going to be worth the time and the mess. Okay, so I'm going to feature 4 different embossing folders today. I have got the painted texture. This one you can find in the annual catalog, as well as the painted posies. And these two I'm going to be using with some vellum, and I'm going to show you a fabulous technique with vellum in your embossing folders. And then we're going to start off with our exposed brick, which is one of my favorites in the annual catalog. It's just very rustic, and I think it's just a beautiful one to use for fall. And then we are going to use, this is my favorite out of the mini catalog, it is the distressed tile. So we're going to use it with a totally different look than we did when we did our tarnished metal here. Okay, so I just wanted to show you it in a different light. All right, so let's get started with our first technique. And I have used this technique in my Sunday morning step up designs a couple times, so it may be familiar to some of you, but it's always a fun one to do, and it has a huge wow factor to it. So for this one, I basically scrounged around in my craft room, and I mean, I got a lot of scraps laying around and a lot of extra die cuts. And I found from when we did our step up design some extra cutouts of our autumn leaves. So this is what I found. Okay, I've got a lot of extra cutouts, and I went ahead and I added the veining die cut on top of just vanilla. Okay, so this is that oxidized copper papers that we have in the catalog. It is in the mini. They are out of stock at this point, but I have good news. They will be back for October the 9th. So they are coming back into circulation again, as well as our All About Autumns, which was also very popular. The fall papers are coming back, so you can grab them beginning of October. But I'm going to glue these onto a piece of crumb cake cardstock, and then we're going to texturize it. So having this little bit, see the shimmer in there? The little bit of shimmer is going to look amazing when we press it through. Okay, so again, this is going to be a quick one, but I think you're going to love the results. And it's a fun one to do for those of you that are just starting out doing different techniques with embossing folders, because it's not too messy. Okay, and you can use up some different scraps and things that you have in your craft room. All right, so I'm going to lay these beautiful leaves across my crumb cake here. Now do you guys know what day it is today? Can anyone tell me what today is? Let's see. Because our next little technique is going to be a little tribute to today. Let's see if anyone knows what today is. We are September the 22nd. It's your daughter's 50th birthday. Oh my goodness, that's a big one. That is a big one. Yes. First day of autumn. First day of fall. Well, this is true. I'm making some fall cards. Friday. Woohoo! Yes, it is Friday. I love that answer. But it is fall, so I have got just a couple cards. Let me see. I wanted to put this. I'm going to move these a little bit. I'm going to put this one just a little sneak of that leaf in there. Okay. And I wanted to, as we go into fall, right? Fall, it is the first day of fall. So these cards are definitely the fall. But before we go into fall, you know, we had to say goodbye to summer. And I've got a few flowers that are still hanging on in the garden. So for my next set, I thought I would do something that was kind of bright and pretty for those last few flowers that are in my garden. So we're going to get to something really quite bright and pretty for our second cards. We're going to first, though, start with these fall ones for our first day of fall. Okay, so I've got this one all ready to go. This one here, I went ahead and I glued down these beautiful, beautiful leaves, and I'm just going to trim them. And we're going to run these through a couple nice, pretty embossing folders that are beautiful for fall. So we're going to do, I think, let's do our tile for this one. So distressed tile is going to go for this. I think that's going to look amazing. And we're going to go for our exposed brick for this one. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my machine. We're going to give these a quick run, and then we're going to finish these off. So this, as you can see, is a nice quick way to use your embossing folders and to just add that extra element to those die cuts and some simple cards, because we often glue all sorts of stuff on top of our base of our cards. But if you add a little bit of texture, I'm not going to open that up yet. I'm going to wait until we get both of these done. You'll see the difference that a little bit of texture will make. Okay, let's see here. It's a sad, sad day, fall. Oh, I love fall. I'm excited about the fall. It is a beautiful time. In Victoria, we've got all of our leaves are changing colors, and it looks pretty amazing out there right now. Okay, so let's first have a look at our gorgeous distressed tile. And are you ready for it? Let's see. Okay, check that out. Isn't that beautiful? So you can see how just running that texture over there, it embeds it into your backdrop, and with the metallics, it's just so pretty. I am going to mount that one right on here. So this is going to just go onto, I'm going to pull out that pretty peacock color cardstock, and it draws out, we've got that color in some of these leaves, so we're going to match it with that, and we're going to add just a few embellishments, just like that. Perfect, so pretty. And then I have already got a little greeting already cut out that says beyond grateful. So I thought that this would be beautiful for a Thanksgiving card, or just because this week, I don't know if you remember, but I did post that this is till the 24th. So we got 2 more days of National Thinking of You Week. So that means we can celebrate by sending out, I'm going to add a little embellishment, got to add a little shimmer, sending out as many beautiful handmade cards as we can, just because, to brighten up somebody's day, somebody's week. I have got a ton of ones that I'm going to be dropping in the mail. Now, let me just see. I'm just debating. I think I'm going to add a little bit of this gorgeous ribbon here into the center before I'm going to move this dot. Yeah, I am. I'm going to add this in the middle. So this is just some beautiful ribbon. I'm going to add this down the center just to step up our simple backdrop. You took, oh my goodness. I did take off my nail polish. Yes, that's so funny. You guys are so observant. Yes, and you can see not on one of them. And you can see I'm still wearing this Band-Aid. There's a story behind that. And you're going to see the Band-Aid for a little bit yet. It's nothing too terrible, or it wasn't too bad, but I do have to keep the Band-Aid on for a little while. And well, we won't go into why. We don't want to go into that right now, but there is our beautiful fall card. Okay, so that's the first one. Now let's check out how the second, this is the one that I was really excited to see what it looked like with these big leaves and more of a tone. Look at that. So pretty. A little more neutral backdrop. We are going to pull in our mossy meadow for, let's just trim that off, for our card base, and we're going to decorate it up a little. Okay, got my kit, October kit. Ah, that's so exciting. I'm so glad it's got to you early even. So October kits, yes, were mailed out for Card Club, and it looks like that happy mail is arriving to many of you, and I'm excited to create with our adorable berry Christmas bears. Okay, there we go. That's looking fabulous. So for this one, I've got a little thank you all ready to go, and I'm looking for, there was one piece of, I wonder if I've got it here. I do. Do you remember last week when I did make that huge mess that ended up being, let's see here, this one right here, that with pressing all of the color and the water through the texture, and we had leftover ink in the embossing folder, and I took a little bit of ribbon and I just smushed it into that leftover ink and I let it dry. This was the result of that. Do you remember? Yeah. So I'm going to use that. I told you I was going to use it at some point. So I'm going to pull that into this card because it has all those same colors, and I'm going to use it as a backdrop for my greeting. And I think that's all this card needs. Okay, so we're going to add just a little bit of sticky strip just to keep that on my card. Okay, there we go. Like that. Perfect. And then we're going to add just this cute little thank you, and we're going to add some embellishments. Okay. Then you'll have to tell me which card you like the best. Okay, so there is our touch of fall. I'm going to add, we got to add a little bit of something on here. So I'm going to pull in this darker color on this one, and let's do 1 and 2, and 1 down here is 3. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, there we have it. We use that ribbon. I still have a piece that I can savor and use again. But there we have got our embedded leaves. You like the second one, the small maple leaves. Okay, so I think they're both beautiful, and it just shows you an easy way in which you can use those leftover die cuts and create a fabulous backdrop okay, for whatever season it may be, okay? They're both beautiful. The grateful card, the best. Okay, well, oh, we got these little, I got those everywhere. All right, so that was the first quick and easy technique that if you have embossing folders already, you've got some die cut pieces, you can definitely pull this off really quick, okay? So let's go into, are we ready to get a little bit messy? I think we're ready, okay? Let's see, I'm gonna just get a few things out of my way. I'm going to bring in paper towel for this one. We are going to bring in some rubbing alcohol, 99%. That's a little hint. And we're going to bring in some vellum. Okay. Hello, we got Sue and we got a Susan. Love it. Christine, Pat, hello. This was the end of our first technique. We are now getting a little bit messy. Okay, here we go. Let's pull in some items that we're going to need. So I'm going to bring in two other embossing folders. We have got the painted posies and the painted texture. Those are them right there. And then I am going to pull in some vellum. So for vellum, we have got vellum cardstock, and you can get them in the annual catalog in packages. I think there is 10 sheets in a package, but it's a nice thick vellum for card making. It's not that super thin stuff, so you can run it through your embossing folders and it makes a beautiful look just on its own. I have gone ahead and I have used some of that vellum and I ran it through this one here, which is the painted texture. This is the result in which I got from the vellum, which is beautiful. So if you wanted to, say, lay it over top of just some cardstock, I think that on its own is very pretty, right? For a backdrop, and then you can add whatever you want to it. Okay, so you can use just vellum, run it through, and get a beautiful result just with plain vellum. But for today, I want to teach you a technique with the vellum after you run it through your embossing folder. So for the second one, I used the painted posies, and I took my piece of vellum. As you can see, doesn't that look beautiful? But when I ran it through, I wanted to make sure, because this is going to be a card front, that I placed it in a spot in which I'm going to have room to do some greetings on there. So I wanted to kind of have a blank space. So instead of putting my vellum down here, right in the middle of the busyness, I put it up top. So I have got this beautiful scene with some blank areas as well. Okay, so we have got two textures that are run with our vellum. Okay, all right, are we ready to get messy? This is where the messiness begins. I am going to bring in some Stampin' Blends. So this technique does require to use alcohol markers, and we're going to do a little bit of coloring on our vellum. Okay, so I'm going to start with, let's see, I'm going to flip this one over. And when you run your texture, you're going to see that there's going to be one side that is the front of the card. It's a little bit, or in the front of the texture. It's a little bit easier to see it with this scene because the flowers and the detail pop up so easily, right? And you can feel the texture is popped up on that side and the impression is pushed in on this side. So this is the back side. Okay, so I'm going to do some coloring on the back side. For this one here, it's a little bit harder to tell because of the way that the texture is, but you can definitely, if you feel it, you can feel some areas that are popped out and you know that that's the front. So again, I'm going to flip it over And I'm going to do a little bit of coloring on the back side. Okay, here we go. For this one here, I'm going to be matching it with some beautiful new papers that are our online exclusives. They are the delightful floral papers. I did use them in my trifold card, which again, you can find that in my feed. That was our quick cards on Thursday morning. And it has some beautiful colors in those papers. It's got some calypso coral. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just start adding a little bit of calypso coral and just randomly color out some of these bumps. So I'm going to do a little bit more randomness on this texture because the texture is more random. Okay, I'm going to color it slightly different on this one, and you guys will see that in a minute. But I just want to add some beautiful areas of some light calypso coral. I'm going to add in a little bit of, what have we got here? Light Highland Heather. I'm going to actually bring in instead the freesia, because the freesia is the color that's in the paper. So we're going to bring in some freesia in here. Okay. Now, has anyone played around with just putting alcohol or our Stampin' Blends on just plain vellum and then adding a little bit of that alcohol to it and had some fun with that texture? Is there anyone on here that's tried that? If you have been making cards for a while, it may be something that you've tried. Okay, you let me know in the comments if you've tried that, because that alone looks beautiful, but you can step it up with, of course, using your textures amongst it as well. Now I'm going to put a little bit of dark in here. Okay. Okay, not yet. Perfect. I am glad this is new to some of you. That makes me happy. I love to share some new ideas. I first saw this technique. It was done with our leaf texture that we've got, the fallen leaf texture, and it was the Serene Stamper. And she did a beautiful card focusing on those leaves on the paper. So I'm going to do, that's why I thought this here, the Painted Posy, seeming, you know, I'm saying goodbye to my flowers in the garden. I thought this was the perfect papers and stuff to use today. So I have got in here our alcohol, which is 99%. Okay, and I have got, this is an old aqua painter, and I use it just for when I'm doing stuff with my alcohol techniques. I don't use my new painted ones. I just use these ones, and I find that it is great because I don't have to worry about rinsing it too much or if I'm making a mess. So you can use just a plain paintbrush if you want, or you can use an old, if you have an old aqua painter in your stash, you can definitely use that as well. Now I don't want to get any alcohol in this piece yet because I haven't colored it yet, but I'm just taking this and I'm dropping it all over, just dabbing it over top of all my color on here. And what's going to happen is you're going to end up with this beautiful looking backdrop. It's going to kind of move those colors around, and it's going to give you this amazing kind of bubbly technique. You're going to see kind of some bubbly looks to it. Okay, I think I got enough color on here. Now, because this is 99% alcohol, you want to use this stronger alcohol than there's one that's I think 70%, but this is better because it's on the vellum. It's going to dry really quickly. The higher the alcohol level in it, the quicker it's going to dry. Okay, so I think I have done enough dabbing on that, and we're going to see the result in a few minutes. I'm going to go to the next one, and you're going to see how I am going to color this one a little bit different, just because we have more of focal areas in it. I don't want to get, I'm going to put this down because I don't want to get any of that color onto this one. So I'm going to put it on my paper towel. Okay. All right, here we go. Are we ready? Okay, so for this one, you are going to see my color theme. I thought I would go nice and bright and beautiful for, again, those flowers that are hanging on in the garden. I have got some light starry sky, and I'm going to, this time, color and add some color into the areas in which our flowers are. So I'm going to go ahead and like these areas that almost look like, I don't know the name of my flowers. You guys might be able to tell me what these flowers look like. To me, they kind of look like heather, but they're not. I forget what they're called. Gardeners out there, you'll have to let me know. See, Lance is the gardener. He's the one that takes care of our beautiful garden out there and works away at it. But to tell you the truth, I don't even know if he knows the names of the flowers. He just kind of does his thing out there. But I'm going to use, that is the starry sky. And then I'm going to use the light delphiniums. That, I think that is the name of it. Yes. Those tall, beautiful bluish flowers. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm coloring here. Delphiniums. I'll be able to, we do have them out in our garden. Or had them out in our garden, so I'll have to tell Lance. I don't know if he knows that. He might. He might know it. Okay, I'm going to add some green on here now, like that. And let's see, I've got a little bit more delphinium in here. And I'm going to go over, because I want a couple shades in here. So this is just, I'm adding a little bit of our darker starry sky. And then I'm going to go in with some light freesia. And I'm going to go into these flowers here. Thinking these are the posies. Painted posies. That's the name of this folder. And I'm just adding the color. I'm not worrying too much about staying within the lines, because we all know what's going to happen when I hit this with some alcohol. It's going to move around anyway, but I want the most concentrated areas of color to still stay roughly around where the flowers are. And I'm going to hit it with, let's see here, do I have the darker? I have some Highland Heather, and I think that would be quite pretty to kind of add just a little bit. And again, I'm just doodling over top. We're just getting down some color. I'm going to add a little bit of darker color in the middle, so hopefully it'll kind of stay in the middle a little bit more when I add that alcohol. Okay. All right. Okay, next up we have got a little bit of green. I'm going to add some extra green down here because we've got, this is a lighter one, Granny Apple Green. I just want to fill in the spots so there's some beautiful color amongst all of these beautiful flowers. And then, so just adding a little green in there. And then I'm going to do just a light balmy blue up top. So we're going with the sky. So I'm just going to add little bits of balmy blue all within my sky. So it's a little bit harder for you to see the balmy blue because it's a lighter color, but I want to use mostly balmy blue up here and keep that sky nice and light. And look at all the color on there. I think that looks so cool just as it is, right? Are you using Stampin' markers? I am using the alcohol markers. So these are the Stampin' blends. So that is what I'm using for this technique. And then I'm going to bring in my alcohol. Are we ready? Here we go. Oh, this is so fun. So I'm going to start dabbing. I'm going to start on my little flowers here. Okay. Just like this. And I'm just adding a little dabbing because you don't want to rub it like this. You want it to dab, because then you're going to get these beautiful kind of circular spots of color. That is what we're going for. And the other one has actually already dried. I'm going to show you the results of that in a second. It has already dried. That's how quick that the alcohol dries on the vellum when you use the 99%. Okay, you got to get the good stuff. I actually had the other, the lower alcohol content, and I found that it just didn't work as well. It didn't move it as well, and it didn't dry as quickly. Because I used to use that for a technique called polished stone. Do you guys remember that one? I did that one month when I used to run a technique club. Okay. I think that that is going to look amazing. Okay, so here is, you can see there is some alcohol. It's still on there. It's a little bit wet. It will dry quite quickly, and it will add a little bit more movement to that in a second. Okay, so here is those two. I'm going to let those dry. I'm going to bring in ones that, oh, you guys are going to be amazed. Ones that I have already taken. Let's see if this one's dry enough to put together. Oh, it's getting there. Yes, this one is totally dry. So this one is dry. I'm going to flip it over, and you can see, look at that backdrop. Now, it might be harder to see because it's not on white. So if you bring in something white, like so, and you mount it on a piece of white, now you can see all of that movement and color, which is perfect for this embossing folder. Okay, I'm going to match this with a little bit of beautiful paper that is from the Delightful Floral. And I did go ahead and cut out some of the Delightful Floral pieces. Now let me just see if I've got that. I do have it, because this isn't in any catalog. This is an online exclusive. Okay, so the online exclusive items you can only find online, and they release new ones almost every month. So they release these beautiful papers, and this is just one of, I think, 6 different papers, but you can see how beautiful they are. And it does match with a beautiful set of, let's see here, stamps and dies that are in the catalog, the translucent florals. So it does coordinate with this, and you can cut some of these out with some of the dies, I believe. But I just went ahead and I did some cutting out of here. And I mean, there's lots of beautiful papers in here. So these are ones that are well, supplies last. So I had to tell you about them because they're pretty. And I added a little strip of that, and then we added some of our die cuts over top, right? And are you ready for it? Look at the result. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. And they are very Monet-like, aren't they? So this technique, it makes you feel, it really makes you feel like an artiste for sure. I have, let's see, I did have a few different greetings that I had cut out. Let's see, I found one of them. Don't know where my other one went, but there's one. And I know I did, they must be stuck amongst all my flowers that I cut out. And all of these, let's see if I've got it. I had a little hey there that I wanted to add onto this one. I think it must be stuck. There they are. There's the hey there. Okay. So here is a little hey there that I'm going to add onto this card. And you can see how beautiful that backdrop is on this card. It is, it's just stunning. So this is one, I hope that everyone's going to be running out now and buying rubbing alcohol, am I right? They're going to wonder what's going on. Your local pharmacies are going to wonder what is going on with all the rubbing alcohol. There we go. So I'm going to add the little hay there, which I think is perfect. And I'm going to add a few little embellishments. So here is, we're going to use these ones right here. And I'm going to pull in just, I think, something a little neutral. I don't want to pull in anything too bright and bold for this one. This one kind of just blends in but adds a little shimmer onto the card. And there we have the finished card. Okay, so it is very art feeling. You get to play around with it. Every single time you do this technique, it is going to look totally different because the movement with the alcohol, you're not going to be able to control that. You can put, you know, different amounts of color, but you're not going to be able to actually control how it moves. What color cardstock did you use for the translucent floral card? So this is Fresh Freesia. So I use that one because that color's within the papers, and you can see I just put a little strip in there. So it just brings out the freesia in here and the coral in there. Okay, so that is our first one for this technique. Now in the meantime, this has dried beautifully. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? It's all nice and dry. And now I can place this one on a nice light color. Okay, so again, look what happens when that is over top of white. So beautiful. And are you ready? You frame it in with a little freesia. Da, 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 da. Drum roll. There we go. Look at that. This is, I'm going to let you have a closer look. And you can see how you have all this movement in here. And again, you can't control it too much, but you can see how I wanted to keep to the lighter blue. Okay, and again, I colored on the underside, right? Added that alcohol with my paintbrush and just dropped it in places and let it dry. But you can see how it does come out of the areas a little bit, but the concentration of color stayed in where I wanted it to go. Now we're going to add a greeting to this one and a few embellishments to finish it off. I thought this would be perfect for a beautiful birthday card. So I have got a greeting here that I stamped in the starry sky, because that is the color of the blue here in the delphiniums. Delphinium. See, I remembered. I learned something today from you guys. So wishing you the happiest of birthdays. I'm just going to put that right over top. I didn't want to use too bulky of greetings, so I just wanted to use these very simple greetings. And I'm going to bring in our embellishments here. And I think for this one, I am going to pull in just a little bit of blue, light colored blue, because we have this color in our sky. And we're just going to add just a few. Just come on. There we go. We're going to add just a few. I'm going to put one here, 1, 2, and I'm going to put one over here. I might put 5 on this one. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put one over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like odd numbers, and we'll put one down there. 5. And that just kind of pulls that blue out as well. So, ta-da! There we go. There is 2 techniques that you can do with your embossing folders. So over the last 2 weeks, we have learned 4 new techniques for your embossing folders, right? So I hope that this makes you look at those embossing folders a little bit differently and get creative with them. Get messy. because the results you are going to love. This actually wasn't as messy as last week when we had the embossing powders going and we had the actual water, because the stuff dries a lot quicker and you can kind of contain it a little bit more with your paintbrush. But there we have got the embedded with our gorgeous fall, as it is the first day of fall. And then we have got our rubbing alcohol technique here with our summery cards. Okay, the end of summer, beginning of fall. Okay, there we go. So let me know what your favorite is. I have a feeling this might be the favorite of some, but this I think is beautiful for fall. I'm going to play a little bit with the fallen leaves, and I will do another card with some fall colors using this technique, and I will post that one on my page so you guys can check that out and see what the technique looks like with the fall colors. But let's see here, top left. So this one right here, okay, translucent florals. I know, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so thank you guys so much. I have got my samples for November Card Club. Oh my goodness, there's been tons of you already registering for this coming month. And I can't wait to create these beautiful cards with you. I thought I'd take a minute and show you the cards that will be for, let's see here, top right, we're getting a lot of, definitely the alcohol ones were the hit, all of them. Delphinium, this one here, love it. Love to know what you think. And would you like to see a few more techniques over the next couple months is my other question to you. I love teaching techniques, so if you want to see some more kind of wow techniques, let me know and I will see what I can come up with for you. For Christmas in November, our merriest trees, this is your lineup. So this card club registration is open now. Okay, definitely some more techniques. And these are the cards that are going to be made. So we've got some that are done in the navies and golds, some that are done in our traditional Christmas colors, but we've got 4 designs and we're doing 2 of each, one in traditional colors, one in your navy and your gold. So that is the lineup for the 8 cards for November's Card Club. For anyone who still wants to join that, you can definitely still register until the 10th of October. Okay, so we have got quite a few. There's a few spots left in that. Love Techniques want our class back. Oh my goodness. Will the tree cutouts be included? That is a great question for Card Club. I will not be doing all of the die cuts for the trees. For say like this one, I will die cut out anything that is just plain cardstock. These ones here, you will have your papers included. So you can either use, if you have the Merriest Trees bundle, you can cut out all the levels and put your cards together, and I'll walk you through that. If you do not have the Merriest Trees bundle, then you can use something that you've got, whether you've got ornament punches, tree for you. So for a couple of them, I will include the trees. These cards, I will include the trees. And same with these ones because they are just cardstock. It's just going to be this one here. Because they are the pattern paper, I will not be cutting out the trees for you. So this card, you can use ornaments, you could cut out some reindeers, you could stamp something. I will be doing the textures for you though. So I hope that helps in letting you know what will be included and what will not. And this tree will have to be stamped and cut. Okay, so I will do some die cutting, but not all of them if you have to cut the pattern papers or if you have to stamp and cut. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm gonna say my goodbyes. There we go. All right, so thank you guys so much for joining me for another little spotlight technique. September has been fabulous, letting me kind of show you some new things. For Sunday, I have been working like crazy. I tell you, this last week, having fun creating. I have got the biggest mess in my craft room that I have ever had, I think, getting everything ready for club kits. And tomorrow I have got a collaboration with some Canadian demonstrators. It is a team event and I will be creating and doing a demonstration in that. I'm so excited. So for those of you that are demos throughout Canada, you may be part of that group and we'll be seeing that tomorrow. But I will be back here on Sunday morning. I'm still going to do my Sunday morning step up design at 9 o'clock. But then at 1 o'clock, for those of you who messaged me and wanted to join me on a special Zoom event using a 12 by 12 piece of pattern paper, I am looking forward to creating something with you. I'm not going to tell you what our project's going to be, but we're going to have a good time. We'll be on Zoom. We'll get to see each other. We'll get to chat, which is nice. And we're going to create a project and a card. That's all I'm going to tell you. So you will need a 12 by 12 piece of pattern paper. You will need a basic card base in a neutral color and a scoreboard and a paper cutter. So that is all that is required for Sunday. For those of you who still want to get together and do the Zoom, just private message me. Say, I want to join you on Sunday, and I will send you the link for that Zoom. You'll find kind of a heading as well, and it is called Coffee, Create, and Cards, I think. No, Zoom, Coffee, and Create is what it is. And anyways, just private message me if you want in on Sunday afternoon. Okay. All right. That's about it. You can stay in tune with my little one that I put up top. My header on this page will tell you everything else that's going on this month. Okay. I know there's a lot, but I'm having fun creating and sharing, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. All right. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Have a fabulous weekend. I look forward to creating with a lot of you here throughout the weekend. And yeah, enjoy. Enjoy the sunshine. Get out there and enjoy that fall weather. Okay? Bye for now.